What's up, Tiller fam? It's your favorite Tiller coach. That's me, Carlos, or as Jim calls me, Crazy Carl. If you saw the Tiller tip about a month ago, you know that Jim and Anderson traveled to North Carolina to celebrate my retirement from the military after 20 years. So, I'm transitioning from the military to what God has for me in this next season of life. So guess what we're going to talk about? Transitional seasons. So look, this looks like anything under the sun. Transitions take all kinds of forms. Transitioning from being single to being married, to being single without kids, to having kids. And then once you have kids, from being a parent of a baby to a toddler to a young kid to a preteen, a teenager. My oldest is 16, so I'm a little bit dreading the next transition when she's old enough to be a legal adult and out of the house and all the worries that come with that. Right before I met Jim, I had a transitional season that was pretty rough. My dad passed away, and there were times when my parents were divorced, and so I would get a cute picture of one of my kids, and I would text it to my mom and text it to my dad. And after he passed, I would get a cute picture and text it to my mom and go to text my dad and remember I don't have him there. And so I went to a grief share small group, and there are just all kinds of transitions that we go through in life. And I happen to be going through one now, transitioning again from the military to what God has for me. Look, I'll give you the secret of all the Tiller tips, not just this one, all of them. It's easier said than done. And you got to trust Jesus through the entire process, through the entire season, whatever that looks like. I think there's a special grace given, at least I like to think that there's a special grace given during these transitional seasons of life. I want to look at a few scriptures. So Matthew 7:11 says, "If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him?" Look, we're evil parents, right? But we give good gifts because we love our kids. I know God's going to take care of me. I'm his favorite kid, and you're his favorite kid too. And so during these tough transitional seasons, trust Jesus, trust God, know that you're his favorite kid and he's going to take care of you. Matthew 6:26-30 says, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you?" Again, you're God's favorite kid. I think there's special grace extended during transitional seasons of life. It's easier said than done. It's easy to say, hey, just don't worry during this transitional season. Just, carry on like everything's normal. It's easier said than done. I know that. But you have to trust Jesus, especially in the transitional seasons of life. All right, Tiller fam. Love you. See you next week.